Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. So tomorrow, Wednesday, is Hidden Figures Day, so I will be posting a Hidden Figures video tomorrow. And you guys know I normally don't post videos back to back, but a lot of you guys have been kind of requesting that I do a video on the situation that's going on in Austin, and I kind of wanted to make a video on some things that I've been thinking about, kind of broader. Because you guys know I like to kind of think in terms of like broader concepts than like kind of individual incidents. But for anybody that doesn't know, this information is from Vox, and of course there will be links in the description box. But 4 bombs have exploded in residential neighborhoods in Austin since March 2nd. And it's like appearing to be like a serial bomber situation. A 5th bomb exploded at a FedEx last night, Monday night. And a 6th bomb was also identified at the FedEx before it exploded. And those bombs were addressed to, those packages were supposed to be going to Austin. So people are, assuming that it's by the same person. The first bomb occurred on March 2nd, killing 39-year-old Anthony House, who's black, when a package, it exploded at his home. And then on March 12th, 2 other package explosions occurred. The first killed 17-year-old high school senior Draymen Mason, who was also black. And the second one critically injured 75-year-old Esperanza Herrera, who was visiting her mother's house where the package was delivered. House and Mason, the 2 black Americans that were killed, had relatives who were good friends and prominent members of Austin's black community and appeared to have had a connection. House's stepfather, Freddie Dixon, told the Washington Post that he is close to Mason's grandfather. They were fraternity brothers. Norman Mason attended a church where Dixon used to be a pastor. Like, these people were connected and they were very prominent in the black American community in Austin. And the fact that the victims of the first 3 explosions were black and, Latinx has led to speculation that race could be a factor. So this got me to kind of thinking about these like white liberal enclaves. I was reading the Washington Post article and someone left a comment that said like, I live in Austin. Austin prides itself on being this like, cool, open-minded type of like hipster, whatever, like a liberal enclave. And they were like, but that shit is basically a front. We have a notoriously fucking racist, white supremacist police department that routinely like stops black people and like it's racist as fuck. And I remember when I went to Portland, Oregon last year, a lot of people were saying the same thing about Portland. Portland is also one of these kind of like white liberal enclaves, these places that all these places that, pride themselves just again on like being really liberal, on being so liberal, but are like really racist as fuck. Like Oregon was like literally a white sanctuary state where you could not live if you weren't white. Like when Oregon was granted statehood in 1859, it was admitted into the Union with a constitution that like explicitly forbade black people from living, working, or even owning property there. Like it was illegal for black people to even move to the state until 1926. And any black people that were living in Oregon territory prior to it being granted official statehood had to leave when it became a state because it was like put on like the books. It was a law. And the 14th Amendment, which states that all persons, born in a state, a certain state, are residents of that state, and they will not be deprived of, life, liberty, property, a job, or equal protection under the law in that state, was not ratified in Oregon until 1973, expressly so they would not have to protect black people that live there. So again, all these places that just really pride themselves on being so liberal but are really racist as fuck. They'll make like the top 10 places to live, especially if you're a millennial, top places to travel, top places to go. Austin has South by Southwest every year, which I have attended South by Southwest. I remember one time I was like riding in a Lyft, and it was my first and only time in Texas. And then you do have cities in Texas like Houston, which also do have like a sizable black middle class and a black population. But like Austin is like not one of those places. Even though Austin prides itself on being, weird and liberal, it's still a majority white city in a majority red state. And I'm riding in my Lyft and I'm like, oh, my Lyft driver's like, oh, how do you think of Austin so far? And I'm like, I don't know. It's my first time here. Like, I'm just here for South by Southwest, so I'm probably not getting the full Austin experience. And I remember my Lyft driver, who was Black, was like, well, it is still Texas, you know? So you go to these places and you have to ask yourself, like, oh, these places are supposed to be so great and so liberal, so amazing, wonderful, blah, blah, blah. But you have to ask yourself, like, well, I'm Black, so what does this mean for me? You know, like, Portland had a historically Black community that's currently being super gentrified, you know? Like, and this is just a reminder, in my opinion, of how pervasive racism is in the very infrastructure of our country. Every, you know, best city list, every best places to travel list, every, you know, liberal enclave, everything for us as Black people, even if it turns out that these bombings were not racially motivated, you can feel how you want to feel about that, but it's just like everything has to be kind of filtered through this racial lens. That's very true. People always say, like, why are you making everything about race? Why are you pulling the race card? It's like everything is about race. And this is also why I go so fucking hard on everything, for all the people that are always saying, like, well, why is this a big deal? Or why is that a big deal? It's like everything is a big deal because everything is racist. Or even if it's not, it probably is. You have to at least consider it, you know, like we live in a society that's so racist that we have to at least consider if these bombings are race related, right? Like everything, like there's literally two versions of the world, like the fake world and then the real world where Black people live, where we have to like consider it, where we always have to consider it, even if it's just in the back of our minds, like we always have to consider it. And I just feel like, honestly, like, don't let anybody fucking try to tell you different. Don't let anybody try to gaslight you, try to make it seem like, why are you making it a race thing? Or why are you doing this? Or why are you doing that? Cause like, it's very, like, it's legit. Like you have to be still, like as if like sundown towns, you know, like very careful about like where you go and where you are and what you're doing. And if you're going to be targeted, and it's real. And like these white liberal fucking enclaves be the worst places too, because a lot of even those types of people, those are the fucking worst types of white people, because you can't even tell them like nothing, because they be on their shit like, well, I live in Austin and like Austin's cool and progressive. It's like, bitch, you the most racist one, you fucking liar. So rest in power to fucking everyone that's been injured, obviously, but especially Anthony House and Draylen Mason. Draylen Mason's 17 years old, high school senior, you know, killed for what? For nothing. So I just wanted to make this quick video on that, because that's just, when I saw it, I was like, Austin, like somewhere that people are always like talking about, but we have to consider, you know, if this was racially motivated. So still going to give you guys a Hidden Figures video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully everyone's having a good week so far. Let me know what you think in the comments. Links will be in the description box. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.